What's up, YouTube? It's Nooch the Console Samurai. Let's talk about DLC. DLC has become kind of a given in this generation, the last generation. We just kind of accept it as part of gaming. Kind of is. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do think that it has a lot of potential. I don't think it's really used the way that it could be. Because DLC offers you the opportunity to play a game pretty much forever. I mean, any RPG you play, they could add dungeons every 2 or 3 months. Easy. Racing game. Add a couple cars every couple months. A couple tracks. Maybe add a few new features. This is what DLC is. This is what DLC could be. But there's another kind of DLC. There's a kind of DLC that's done wrong. There's the kind of DLC that things are removed from the game and they are sold to they're sold to us again, whether by kind of making us choose where to pre-order from or by downloading from the actual PlayStation Store, Marketplace, eStore, whatever you want to call it. Now, to go in that vein, there's another one. There's one more type of DLC that is just as bad, but also is a bold slap in the face to the gamers who buy the games. And that, my friends, is on-disc DLC. In case you missed it, over the weekend, a glitch in Destiny revealed strike missions, story missions, raids, many other things for the 2 expansion packs, the Dark Below and the House of Wolves. What does that mean? Well, given that the Dark Below is 2 months out and House of Wolves is 6 months out, but yet it still showed up in the game, that means it's on the disc. At least part of it has been located on the disc. We don't know how much, but it is on there. So that means that you paid $60 for that disc, and you're paying $35 to unlock what's on this disc. So that means this game is actually going to cost you $95. For what? For an expansion? Oh no, the expansion's already in here. We already went ahead and installed that for you. I bet you it's already installed. We already went ahead and installed it for you. We're just not going to let you play any of it until you go ahead and give us more money. Because we know that you went out and you spent $60 on a brand new game. So to thank you, we're just going to go ahead and stab you and twist the knife a little bit more. I have no problem spending $60 on a game as long as the game is worth it. As long as the game is fun. As long as it's fun to play. Which Destiny was fun to play. Until I beat the story. Which wasn't very long. It took me a week to beat the story. Completely beat the story. I did every mission that was available in a week. At this point now, I'm done with the game. I've beaten it. All that's left now is to mindlessly grind raids and strikes with the hope that I'll find better equipment. And then go play the arena. I'm not a huge first-person shooter fan. Just not. I liked the story. The story was good. The story still is good, but the story is not finished. And that's another reason that pisses me off, because part of the story is in these expansions. So I spent $60 on a game that, wait, you're not even going to let me finish the story yet, allegedly? Apparently there's more story missions coming. But they're already on there. Now, some of you may remember Capcom. Capcom loved doing this. Capcom brought us Mega Man. They brought us the Street Fighter franchise. They brought us Devil May Cry. They were a huge player in the game industry. They revolutionized games. unfortunately, one of the revolutionary things they did was they came up with on-disc DLC. And for this, they pretty much went out of business. Not completely, but when it was found out that certain of the games, such as Street Fighter games, Resident Evil, which, whatever you want to say about Resident Evil is fine. The on-disc DLC of Resident Evil was very bad. Very, very bad. Because there was a lot of things that were left on the disc, but they were locked. They were behind a paywall. Let's see, what was it? There was a Metro game. I think it was Metro 2033. Forget which one it actually was. Hard mode. You had to download. It was already on the disc, but you had to download a code to play it. If any of this makes sense to you, I don't know what's wrong. To do things like this is nothing more than stealing from the gamers. It really is. Because we own $60. I would assume I own everything on that disc. Now you're telling me $60 I own half of what's on the disc. The other half you're going to charge me $35 for? No. No, that's just greed. And because that's just greed, and people said the same thing with Capcom, people stopped buying Capcom games. They stopped, and then Capcom lost money, and lost money, and lost money, to the point that Capcom now is too broke to develop a game. Or they were. I think they were actually in negotiations to get bought out. They don't have the money to develop a game. They're a game developer who doesn't have the money to develop a game big enough to save them. That's it. They're done. They've either been bought out or you should start looking for a new job. With the Master Chief Collection coming out, who knows what kind of on-disc DLC there'll be there. But, truthfully, I don't know what else to say about this. This is a huge thing that should not happen ever again. On-disc DLC is bad because all it proves is that you really are only out for the money. You don't care about the gamers because you put it on there. So obviously, it's done. If it's done, we should be able to play it. If it's done and on the disc, we shouldn't have to pay for it. There's nothing more you're doing. All you're doing is sitting around waiting to collect $35 from each gamer. Oh wait, a lot of us probably already put the code in, like me, which I am beyond pissed that I already put in that code. I can't even sell it on eBay. Anyway, so needless to say, I am definitely not impressed with Destiny. I believe the hype. It was a short game, not worth $60. It's a short game, not worth $95 for what's on the disc. And Bungie can say, "Oh, it's not on the disc. We're still working on it." If it's not on the disc, the missions wouldn't have showed up. At least part of the expansions are on the disc. I don't know how much, but I can guarantee someone will find out, and that will make it on the internet. And I'm betting it's probably the vast majority of those expansions. And it's going to be a tiny little code, or it's going to be a tiny little file to unlock it. You watch. When it comes time to unlock them, it's going to be like 100 kilobyte download, just like other DLC that we've seen in this vein. So, with that said, once again, I am the Console Samurai. Don't buy Destiny.